Senator Pohl calls Senate Resolution number 4. The clerk will read.
A Senate resolution to honor Senator David Vinzant upon his retirement.
The chair recognizes Senator Pohl to present the resolution.
My esteemed colleagues, I'm here to present Senate Resolution number 4, honoring the service of Mr. David Vinzant to this body. I met Senator Vinzant in, I want to say, December of 2023. I was attending I believe it was a function, it was a Christmas party for labor. And I'm sitting over by the snack table, eating some food, munching on some, some delicious appetizers. And there's this guy that's sitting there, and he introduces himself, and he says, well, it's nice to meet you. I hope that I get to join you over in the Senate. And I said, oh, that's interesting. I have no idea. I'm thinking maybe he's from South Bend, maybe he's running in one of these other places. And he says, I'm intending to run for Eddie Melton's seat. I said, okay, all right. I have no idea who this individual is, but I could tell right away that I was impressed by him. You know, I started asking him a little bit about himself, and then I started asking other people about him, and I started to find out that there was this guy that was potentially going to be running for this seat that I knew nothing about. And I don't know if you know this about the region, but the region, as big as it is, it can be pretty small. It can be, there's a lot of folks that are up there, but there's, in those circles, you tend to kind of know who's running for what. And this guy kind of came out of nowhere and really, really impressed me. He had a background in tech. He had a background as an entrepreneur in the private, in the private sector. But he also had this background in local government, serving as a city council member for the city of Hobart for 16 years. That's rare. It's rare that you find somebody that understands both sides of the coin, that understands what it means to be a private citizen and an entrepreneur, and understands what it's like to serve the public. And to me, that's a dual threat. To me, that is the individual that can, that can speak to everybody in the chamber, that can speak to folks out in the hallway, that understands problems in ways that others just simply can't. A lot of times we get very, very focused on one side of the issue, and we believe the things that we believe because of that's all we know. So to have somebody that served with us, that was really on both sides of the aisle, or on both sides of the coin, to me it was really an honor. And then I got to know Senator Vinzant and how thoughtful he was, and really how what's the term that I want to use? I forget the specific term, but cerebral. Cerebral is the term I'm looking for. How really he looked at things in a way that, to me, kind of blew me away. I always like to think of myself as somebody who really thinks something out, thinks things through before I get up and speak about them. But he went beyond that. And it was really, truly an honor to get the opportunity to serve with him in this chamber. Short but sweet is something that I would think that is a phrase that would come to mind, as we had the opportunity to serve with somebody like Mr. Vinzant. Senator Vinzant, I can say this, you kind of came out of nowhere for me, but you taught me so much in a very small amount of time. Things that ways that I would approach bills, ways that I would think about issues, particularly as pertain to local government, and how that would reflect in the business community. It was truly an honor to get to serve with you, and with the permission of the chamber, I'd like to add everybody in this chamber as an author on this bill.
Is there consent to add all the senators to the resolution? Consent is granted.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion? Senator Spencer? Senator Spencer to speak on the resolution? Yes, sir. Yeah. The chair recognizes Senator Spencer.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would be remiss if I pass this opportunity to stand before you and to thank Mr. David Vinzant, who has shared both his wisdom and his integrity of all that encompasses that of being a servant leader. In my transition to this spot, it has been quite the lesson, to say the least. Mr. Vinzant has not only taken his time, but he's used his wisdom in such a way where my path has been made more clear. So I want to thank you for all that you've given me with this work that we're doing for our most important constituents in District 3. And I thank you for all that you've done for your community and our communities collectively over these many years. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Senator Donnell. The chair recognizes Senator Durnell to speak on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too would be remiss if I didn't come up here. Senator Vinzant and I have gone back about 15, 20 years, I would say, on local government. He and I didn't always agree on things, but I consider him a friend. And I think we agreed on most things, right? But sometimes, you know, my wife and I don't agree on everything, so it's kind of nice to have a person that we could talk and have this conversation with, and having the lunches that we had. Senator Vinzant did not stop being that senator when he knew he was not going to be coming back in January. He was at all the committee meetings that I could see, and I appreciate that. And I believe all your constituents and the state of Indiana is in a better place because of you, Senator Vinzant. Look forward to working with you. I look forward to seeing you throughout the many years to come, and look forward to those lunches too. Thank you.
Senator Niemeyer. The chair recognizes Senator Niemeyer to speak on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President and members of the chamber. I knew Dave a long time. I knew about him. We didn't have a lot of personal contact back home, but I knew the job he did for the city of Hobart and what he did in that area. Hobart's kind of right in the middle of Lake County and the area that was growing so fast. And being down here with Dave and dealing with Northwest Indiana issues down here, him being the other side of the aisle, I never had, we had a great conversation. We basically were 100% on what we needed for Northwest Indiana. He was a great representative of that area and the people he represented in that particular area when he came down here. And he was a privilege serving with Dave and hoping the best as he goes forward. Thank you.
Senator Dorio. Chair recognizes Senator Dorio to speak on the resolution.
Thank you for saying my name right.
You're welcome.
Senator Vinzant, gosh, we became friends immediately. We talked things over, didn't always agree, but we got each other's point across, and sometimes I change, sometimes you change. So I just want to thank you for your friendship. So thank you.
Senator Niskotsky. The chair recognizes Senator Niskotsky to speak on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the Senate. Dave, I can't express to you how much of a pleasure it was serving with you during the time that we served. I want to try to express this adequately because I know how much you would have desired and would have loved to have gone on and served more. But I'm thinking of something that was expressed a long, long time ago, and when I read it, it really had meaning to me. So the way that I recall how the quote went is that during the times that we will reflect of the things we've done in life and the opportunity to want to serve more, there is one thing that all of us will be able to share. It's the memory of having served. That memory, that will be exactly the same. Because none of us it is not going to change. That opportunity, you had that opportunity, and that will never be taken from you. And I just want to recognize you as a man of civility and a man that I appreciated serving with greatly.